LSU is getting ready for Alabama, and we take a look back at the beginning of the season and how far the Tigers have come here on the Hannycast.
The Hannycast, a weekly LSU football film study with Charles Hanagriff and former LSU tight end Richard Dickson. Now to break down the Tiger tape, here's Charles and Richard.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us here on this week's Hannycast. Along with Richard Dickson, I'm Charles Hanagriff. Rich, we got the off week, so there's no new film to look at. But what we're going to do is kind of a look back at the USC game and see how far LSU's come. This was supposed to be a nice thing, like a bonus for the audience.
Put them through some more torture.
Yeah, I know LSU lost this game, and it's not made any better by the fact that USC is now 4-5.
Yeah.
But these are some of the things that LSU was doing in week one. And now as we go into week 9 with Alabama, a ton on the line here. I think LSU has got every goal out in front of them. You know, it used to be if you lost the second game, well, the playoffs were out, the SEC championship game was out. I don't think any of that's in play this year. With the new playoff system and the expanded conference and no divisions, I think LSU, maybe not mathematically for every scenario, but I think they're as close to controlling their own destiny as you can get with 2 losses after 8 games. So it's all on the line here. So we're going to take a look back at this game, which was obviously a disappointment, but LSU's come a long way since this game.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to me going back and watching this film. Like, there was a lot of things I liked that we did in this game. There were things that I thought we ran the ball pretty well at certain points in this game. Defensively, you're going to see a lot of personnel changes, and that's things that we've gotten better as the season's gone on. But there's good things from the first game, and there's things that we see why we've changed.
Okay. Let's take a look at it. We're going to start this off. This is against USC. This is a first quarter play with Garrett Nussmeier going to Mason Taylor, who had a very nice game here in the first one. So let's set this up here. First quarter, first 5 minutes of the game.
And the biggest thing for me is, like, there's communication. You see Will Campbell point out to the left. They see a cowboy blitz coming off the side. Communication was well, passed off well. Garrett Nussmeier hits Mason Taylor in the flats, breaks the tackle, and this is a big first down early in the game.
All right, let's take a look at it from the rear view here, and
so
you see Campbell
pointing, and that's just recognition as an experienced offensive line. They see the corner cheating, they see the safety over there to the top left scooting over, knowing that they're going to run more of a man coverage cover 1. But the early onset of Campbell noticing the way that he passes it off to Dellinger, they slide out perfectly, and this is well covered.
Let's take a look here. Taylor breaks one tackle, gets down inside the 25.
The thing for me was, like, going back and watching this, and when I'm picking plays, I was like, we should have won this game. Like, I go back and think about, like, in the 6 minutes in the fourth quarter, we're still winning, and things they did early were great. There's some things that I wish we'd bring back to what we're doing now.
Well, I can tell you, I felt that night that LSU should have won this game, and 2 months later, I have not changed my mind on that. As a matter of fact, a little bit more, having watched USC's season unravel, which I didn't think. I thought Miller Moss was a good quarterback. I thought that they were going to have a good season. I didn't think they were going to win the Big Ten or anything. And their travel and all that stuff is demanding, and that's a whole different conversation. But I left Las Vegas thinking the USC was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was wrong because they're not.
But you also, like, to that point, USC had some people after their first loss or second loss. These guys on the field right now are no longer with USC.
That's right. Bear is transferred out, I think, 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's some guys up here for LSU. All right, this is the 4th and goal from the USC 3-yard line. It's about halfway through the first quarter, and Garrett Nussmeier was looking for C.J. Daniels, but USC came with a blitz here.
Yeah, and before you hit play, like, the most frustrating thing to me when I go back and watch this was kind of on Joe Salone on this point. It was the play calling sequence. We ran the ball down to get to this point. Josh Williams, to get us to where we are now, broke a 12-yard run, got it down to the 3-yard line, and then we have 3 consecutive pass plays in a row.
This is before John Emery really became a part of this game. He really started to assert himself in the second half, and unfortunately that's the only time we saw John Emery. Caden Durham was not even a part of the game plan in this particular game.
I can't remember him touching the field. Just the film I watched, I think he got a few plays, but, I mean, early on we had some running things going. Josh Williams broke a couple. But this is one of those plays where, like, we didn't trust the run early on in the season. We've talked about the run game going forward in the last 7 games. But this is one where you get down on the 3-yard line and you pass it 3 times in a row.
All right, this is 4th down. Here we go.
And what you're going to see here, you're going to get a blitz on the inside. They bring 5. This is just a young center, miscommunication. They don't pass off very well. And, you get a Mike linebacker running up the gap free.
Well, you can really see that this time he came right up.
And this is a great view. I mean, you can see where Chester's head is. Like there's no communication about passing off a block right now. And I don't know what Williams, his responsibility was, but he never looks inside. He never has a pass block. You're going to get 2 chippers on the outside, which game 1, we've talked about all year long, our security blanket and where we're great at is on the edge. But both these guys, we send help on the tackles. We got 2 first-round tackles. Why are we sending help both onto the tackles?
Now, tell me when we look at the wide view here, if this blitz is picked up, what we might have been able to convert.
Well, that's the sad part is nobody's open.
Oh, I mean, okay, so it gets worse.
Yeah, it gets worse. I mean, I went back and I did the first thing. When I broke down this film, I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, well, if he is picked up, where do we throw the ball? And everybody's covered.
All right, let's take a look here from the wide view. Blitz comes right up the center.
Pause it right here. Like, this is where I'm a little bit confused. Where's Mason Taylor? Wait a second. Go a little bit further. He comes over here to the edge. So right now, if you hit pause now, our strength in this offense is Emory Jones and Will Campbell. I don't understand why that we're getting help here and help off the right edge. Because right now, I mean, this is the guy, the young guy, the redshirt freshman. If I'm having any help somewhere, I'm going to look over the middle of the ball, and he doesn't see it. We get a double team on the guard, linebacker runs free, and both of the tackles get help.
Here comes up, Nussmeier
So you can pause it there. Nobody's open regardless. You got guy on guy. Mason Taylor's covered. Josh Williams is covered. I don't know where they would have gone with the ball regardless.
And that, kind of, it set a little bit of the tone.
Yeah, I mean, this is
that night. If you score on this drive, I don't know, it's just going to feel a lot different.
Well, not only that, like I watched, going over the play sheet, this was a 9 or 10 play drive. We had an 8 play drive. We had multiple 8, 9, 10 play drives without scores.
We're brought to you by Marucci and MarucciSports.com. New Hitters House just opened up in Metairie, 1801 Airline Drive, just a couple of weekends ago. Hitters House here in Baton Rouge, 5801 Segan Lane, founded by current and former big leaguers dedicated to quality. Athletes at every level can benefit from the Hitters House. If you are a member of the Hitters House, 24/7 access to the members-only cages, bullpen cage reservation opportunities. There's a discount for all of your members that can take care of in the retail store. We got a lot of new items in our retail stores now. All the Marucci alumni and composite bats are available at the Hitters House. So again, 5801 Segan Lane and 1801 Airline Highway in Metairie. And for more information, go to MarucciSports.com. All right, we're going to move forward here. This is in the second quarter with the score is still tied at 0. Miller Moss is complete to Zachariah Branch for 19 yards. This is up to near midfield and a first down.
It's a screenplay that was just badly read. We got guys that are just biting completely on the play action. They're flowing hard. The defensive line, I think, now is doing a lot better job of realizing what's going on and reacting. But this is one where I say Brady Swinson didn't have a good play. Burns didn't really fly to it. I mean, this is one where you're going to see it is every offensive coordinator's dream. This is how a screenplay should look.
All right, let's take a look here.
It's a cover 3 that, you got a young corner right there, Stamps. It's kind of in guessing what's going to happen, and you're going to get a really good look once we get to the wide view. But on this tight view right here, when you watch Swinson, and look, what we talked about it last week, this is another one of those deals we do heavy offset to the left. All 3 defensive linemen are on the left. You got one wide guy. He's going to be your zone dropper. He's got to read this because anytime you get this many offensive linemen with a free release out to the right, he's still blocking it like it's a run play. He's got to attack the guy on the inside, outside. He's got to realize what's happening and just react.
Yeah, this is a man-made hole on the left side of USC's. Why wouldn't they try to get into something between where Swinson is and where Perkins is, that guard comes to the next level. He takes Perkins. He's got a great angle there. You got a great angle on Swinson. You got a man-made hole. I mean, you're 15 yards before you get to where Gilbert is.
This is something we've seen 7 games going on. I mean, we are gambling right here. It's a passing down, a passing situation. We're in second and 11. We're bringing our blitzers in. We're bringing Suggs in, who only plays in passing situations. You got Shand out to the left. You know, it's strange that we got Savion Jones is out of the picture right here. We bring in our heavy pass rushing guys.
I haven't seen this run against them again.
No.
You would have thought you see this on film. You might see it again. How would LSU take a look at this now with the personnel differences?
Well, I think what you have now is you got guys who are reacting better. I mean, Swinson is playing at an All-American level at this point. He doesn't make this play in week 2. This is probably one of his worst reps. He reads outside zone. He's trying to not get reach blocked by the tackle, but understanding when you see the next clip, the amount of offensive linemen are let free. I mean, a screen is read and react. You got to understand that you don't come free that easy. You got to understand what's happening.
All right, let's take a look here. Now, let me back it up here. It looked like Shan was trying to
slide him inside.
Yeah, and he didn't.
But even that, I mean, there's no 3 free rushers. And you're going to see a really good clip from the wide view. You got a 3-drop zone, or cover 3. Once he crosses, the wide receiver crosses over here, he releases, but he still keeps dropping. He doesn't play the attack. You got Swinson. This tackle's going to get outside. He plays run game the whole time. He stays on the outside, and he's got to realize once he sees the other 2, the guard and center, getting width and getting depth, that he's got to beat that guy and get to the spot. And this is another one that I'm not sure. We've talked about with Burns and Perkins when this guy crosses the field, swapping guys. Burns signals to him, and you'll see it in just a second. And I just don't know if Perkins ever really gets it because I think Perkins might have been able to get to the flat quicker. He signals to Perkins. Perkins just kind of goes after he takes the bait, like hit pause, or go back 2 seconds and hit pause. Hit pause now. That's never a good scene. You got this many people flowing on it. Perkins, which you saw Burns, he motioned to him that the guy was coming across the field. Perkins goes after the quarterback inside. This guy, no one's covering him. And I assume, I don't know exactly their calls of what's going on in this situation. But Burns had this guy man. He motioned across. He pointed over there to the side, which I'm assuming he's talking to Perkins. But Perkins doesn't realize that he rushes the quarterback. And you got 5 guys on 2. That's
bad
good.
numbers. And it results in a big game.
And the big thing is, running back real quick, this is where I think Swinson understands better. He is a zone dropper right there. He's dropping to the flat, but getting that depth and keep backing up, he's got to realize when he sees around the amount of tackle or the offensive linemen have moved out there that it's going to be a screen.
Bad as that was, we haven't seen LSU getting eaten up on screens all year, so they get better.
Well, yeah, I mean, Swinson is playing lights out at this point. I think this is early on, new defense, new communication, guys just understanding what their role is.
All right, next play we're going to look at 1st and 10 from the LSU 41. Miller Moss going down the field to Kyron Hudson.
And this is one I think that was pretty well played. Everybody covered it pretty well. You got Weeks, 33.
Yeah.
The other Weeks.
Yeah, West Weeks.
He's playing a good bit right now. I think that he drops well. It's pretty well covered. It's a great catch.
I hope you don't think we're trying to torture you with making you go back and watch, a film of a game that LSU lost.
I felt tortured going back and watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to torture you either. Weeks is trying to redshirt now.
Yeah.
Okay. Perkins is out for the year. The next time LSU loses a game in September and you say, oh, man, this is how the rest of the season is going to go, think about this and think about where LSU is now as compared to this. This is the great catch, right?
Yeah, it's a great catch, pretty well covered. Burns carries him. You got Weeks in the same slot. I think it might have been, Burns could have got deeper, quicker, but I mean, shoot, he's right there.
It's about as good as you can do, and the kid makes one of the best catches of the year.
And I'll show you once you get to that's pretty cool. When you got both brothers playing right next to each other on the sideline, I think that's awesome. You want to see Burns get a little deeper, quicker, but I mean that's just a great play.
That's all you can do in that case. we'll see the wide view, and then we'll move on from this one.
And when I mean get deeper, he's got to start dropping right there. He could have cut him off a little bit, but I mean, still, it's just a great play.
They make that play, you got to kind of tip your hat on that one. We're brought to you by Dependable Storage with 8 locations across Louisiana, 1 in Gulfport, Mississippi. Facilities also in Slidell and Youngsville. They'll match any competitor's pricing at Dependable Storage, offer convenient online rentals and payments, and offer free use of the moving truck for new rental move-ins. Clean, secure, and conveniently located facilities. Check out the website at dependablestorage.com for location, pricing, and rentals. Skip Bertman always said, Dependable Storage wants your stuff. Let's move forward here. This is one of the better runs of the night for LSU. This is Josh Williams. We're still in the first half here. This is early in the second quarter.
Yeah, and look, this is a great run. I give Josh Williams a lot more credit. I felt like I was frustrated at the game at the time watching him, but this is just a bad look. And once we get to the backside view, I'll show you. I mean, we have 2 receivers, what we talked about a lot earlier, playing in tight, bringing guys into the box. Essentially got Thomas playing tight end right now. He's foot to foot with the tackle. That is a tight end basically at this point. So you're going to have a wide receiver playing tight end. You got Daniels on the backside. It's just I don't like having wide receivers in the box to block people because they typically don't do a good job against defensive ends. I mean, they are outweighed by 100 pounds. And this is one where I think Jamal Thomas actually does an amazing job blocking this guy. But you have an MA. This is a situation where Emery and Jamal Thomas have a double team called a joker out to the outside guy, and you'll see it the wide view. But they both get stuck on one. We get a 10-yard run right here, and it's a great run by Williams. But this is a play that could have been busted for longer.
You got 8 on 6 up here on the line. I realize 2 of these 8 are wide receivers, but I'm a little surprised USC didn't close down here a little bit more.
No, I mean, technically it's 6 on 6 because I'm not asking either one of those guys to block a 280-pound defensive end.
No, but you're getting away.
Yeah.
let's watch the cut.
I say all that to say Jamal Thomas, like great. Jamal Thomas, right? Or am I
Xavier. Yeah.
I played with Jamal Thomas at LSU. That's
right.
why I'm getting confused. Xavier does a great job, and it's unbelievable. Like, he does a hell of I don't like the look. He blocks the hell out of this guy. But Emery's got to understand that you got these 2 on these 2. And it's an MA on Emery, in my opinion, because once this guy takes the edge of Thomas, he's got to work up and block this guy. And you'd have really been on a one-on-one, could have been a bigger play, but you get 2-to-1 and get 2 free guys.
Nice cut by Williams, too.
He makes a guy miss, and that's one where, Emery's got to, he's a veteran. He understands right there that you got to work up.
No, we haven't seen that look very much since then.
There's a few looks in here that I really, that one not necessarily like. I think Thomas did an amazing job for a wide receiver blocking right there. But there's things that I wish Thomas was way more involved because he's a great player, and I feel like we haven't been getting him the ball enough.
Well, here's another play where Xavier Thomas gets a pass for 11 yards and gets into USC territory for a first down. This is later in that same drive.
And this is one of the plays that you heard, I don't know if it was Monday or today's Monday. There was an interview with Brian Kelly about screens. Here's a bubble screen. We get a great look. We get him the ball. You got Pimpton out there. You get Daniels with a good block. These are plays I'd like to see more because I don't feel like I can remember the last game we ran a screen in. And we ran them early on. You'll see in the next look.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the personnel. You got Caleb Jackson in the backfield, who we've seen not as much as we thought. Xavier Thomas is playing, but you're right, we haven't seen this look. And Pimpton, we haven't seen as much since earlier in the season.
It's interesting to me because Pimpton was a big part of this game, going back and watching all the plays. Thomas was a big play.
And Xavier, Trades Green is essentially taking those reps, right?
Yeah, he's taking the reps of him, but I really love getting him the ball. I mean, you get the look right here. This is going to be a bubble screen. Hit pause. This is what you want in a screen. I mean, there's 3 guys. You're going to have the deep safety. You have everybody blocked. Get the ball in a playmaker's hand and let him go do something. But I haven't seen us throw a bubble screen. I can't tell you how long.
I think what Brian Kelly said was our offensive linemen are like elephants on skates. But these are on this play. If we're running back again, these are not offensive linemen out there blocking on this bubble screen.
No,
this is a tight end and a wide receiver.
Tight end. I mean, look.
And Daniels blocks.
You got to get this play back involved. Like I heard the reason that you're not getting looks because your offensive linemen are blocking. You're not getting heavy rush looks. You want to run a screen against a heavy rush. That was not a heavy rush. That's a quick bubble screen that Jimbo Fisher, when I played, was big. We had a check bubble on every run play we had. That just if you got the look you had 2-on-3, throw the run and let the guy go make a play.
And Nussmeier recognized
Yeah.
this very well. 25 years of experience, Lake Urgent Care is dedicated to providing quality care close to home, treating minor illnesses and injuries for ages 3 months and up at 17 convenient locations in Baton Rouge, Hammond, Livingston, and Ascension Parish, plus occupational health and weight loss solutions. As a seamless extension of Our Lady of the Lake, patients can access care from anywhere with the MyChart patient portal. Our urgent care centers are open 7 days a week, so you can walk in, check in online, or schedule a virtual care visit at lakeurgentcare.com. All right, let's move forward here. We are into the second half now. This is a complete pass for 41 yards. This is one of the biggest plays of the game, and Miller Moss takes advantage here.
In a 3rd and 10, which where you want to feel comfortable about your percentages and stopping 3rd and long. But this is one where I think we're early in our defense. You got guys playing multiple positions. This is a miscommunication somewhere between Weeks and Burns. I don't think Burns drops far enough into the pocket. You get Weeks overreacting, and it creates a big gap.
That's why I should play. He's got a lot of time.
He has a lot of time, but you also have Weeks and Burns covering the same zone area. This is a zone drop. Everybody's dropping in the zone, and you got 2 guys in one zone. Nobody gets wide enough to kind of cut off this crossing route.
All right.
You'll get a better look from the deep view. But look, right there, hit pause. You got 2 guys. This is zone coverage. There's too many guys in the same zone at this point.
He comes across. This play goes for 41 yards.
And this is in the 3rd quarter when we have a lead. We're trying to get a stop.
All right, set up the coverage for us.
So,
Here.
I mean, you're going to get a zone drop right here. You got Burns off the edge. He's bluffing. You got Weeks, who's on top of the tight end. What I'm assuming right here is that Burns is supposed to be the bluff guy. They're going to bring it from this edge. He's supposed to drop over here to the left side. He's got a long drop, but get over here and cut off the backside zone. Weeks overreacts once he gets here, and you end up with too many people in the same area. And look, talk about personnel. You got 17 in at safety. You got 6 in at safety, guys that aren't playing as much right now.
Let's watch the play again. And Perkins
So
comes
zone,
on a blitz
look,
up the middle.
Hit pause right there. Go back 2 seconds, right when Weeks is dropping. And this is what makes me think that, Weeks had the right area. He's covering this guy, an end breaker. He's responsible to cover this guy from breaking in. Burns is sitting there still. I think Burns was probably supposed to drop over here towards the backside hash, which would have eliminated the guy crossing on the other side because everybody's playing zone coverage.
Oof. A little block in the back there, huh?
Yeah, but we still, to me,
You're not getting that call.
The big thing now that I think where our defense is playing way better is everybody is comfortable in their spot. At this point
I don't
in the
think we've
game,
seen a lot of crossing routes that are just
No, I mean,
crushing them.
early on, we were rotating it with Perkins in and moving different guys in. You saw Wes Weeks, you saw Whit Weeks, Penn, Perkins. People were moving around so much that I just don't feel like they were really comfortable in their assignments.
All right, this next play we're going to look at is a long run by John Emery. This is about midway through the 3rd quarter.
Oh, this is one of this is when I got excited about John Emery coming back. This is he looked like his younger self. He made some good cuts. This is a really skinny hole that he gets through. Man, it's quite impressive. And what you do with Pimpton on the outside, this is early on. We played a lot of 2 tights in our run game, and you have Mason Taylor on the left side, Pimpton. This is an RPO action where they still respect the run. This is the first hit pause. We still respect Garrett Nussmeier pulling the ball. And you're going to see it from the end because later in the year, what you're seeing now is this guy right here is crashing so hard, but at the mesh point, he's paused. He's waiting because he's still expecting a quarterback with the ability to pull the ball.
This is what this play is supposed to look
Yeah.
like. So watch it here. You pulling backside, guard and tackle.
You see 34, the way he stops and plays Nussmeier. Nobody's stopping to play Nussmeier anymore. I mean, watch him come off the edge. He gets to a level position. The next clip, he widens his feet. He's expecting Nussmeier to pull the ball right there. He's playing the pull. We don't have that anymore. Right now, there's enough tape out that he's not going to pull the ball. This guy never stops and probably hits Emery in the backfield.
And I don't blame him because look at the hole that is there where Emery is initially running, where the guard, the tackle are pulling on the play. There's no room over here.
No.
The room's over there,
And
but
that's
Emory
what-
makes a very nice cut.
He just gets skinny. I mean, right there, like he plays it to the perfect point. He gets skinny. He hits the small gap. And because that defensive end respects the pool, he does not crash down on the backside.
Should do more of that.
If you pull it, it'll work.
Let's watch it again from the wide view.
And look, the other big thing I wanted to point out about this, if you run it back, they respect the RPO. When Pimpton releases out wide, and that's also another reason why you're going to get a little pause because he's expecting a reach block. But watch the safety. It opens up this gap. It gives you a bigger lane because they're rushing down to cover the pass. This is an RPO play. This guy right here, he flies to the which opens up that middle gap and gives him the big seam.
39 yards down to the USC 29-yard line for a first down there. Next play was another run, and I think this is the next play, or maybe two plays later, where Emory hits one down inside the USC 30 here. I think we're down on second and 10 to USC 29.
And this is something that we're just not seeing a lot. I mean, we run a sweep play, same side run play. What we talk about, we've talked about multiple weeks in a row. When Emory, the running back, lines up on the left, we're ended up moving to the right. We're getting a bunch over here. Again, too tight. We got Pimpton in. We got Taylor. And we just run a simple sweep play and get two big guys out there on the edge blocking.
Let's take a look from the end zone view. Emory was feeling it at this point.
Oh, he was getting rolling. I got super excited because his injury in the next Monday after this game just kills me because he really got rolling in the second half.
And they flexed Taylor out and put Daniels in between.
So you're running
him.
a bunch set out of two tights.
Yeah.
You got Pimpton on the far bunch. You got Taylor playing the point. They get good blocks. I mean, it's stuff I want to see more because it's same side run. I mean, right now we're so heavy on the opposite side of the running back run plays. But once they get out here, you're getting two big guys that are lead blocking essentially on this play.
Okay, LSU's searching for a run game right now. The Nussmeier keeping the ball on the RPO, I get. Why wouldn't you maybe take a look at something? I mean, I know you don't have Emory anymore, but you've got capable backs.
I just don't. I mean, we're doing different things. I mean, I don't know what they're seeing in Pimpton. I've seen him play a little bit more as of late, but I mean, he does a great job blocking here. This is a play that I love what John Emory did.
Yeah.
John Emory's throwing me off. But give me Caden Durham right here. With his speed and his athleticism, his balance, making a cut. This is a big play that I think that worked early on. Mason Taylor gets beat on that block, and it could have been a bigger play, but still, I mean, it's a 10-yard run with a simple pitch out to the left.
You're searching for stuff that maybe, hey, look, you had a whole off week to go back and look at, hey, is there anything we can pull out from earlier in the season?
Go look at your positive plays. Let's go run down over the last 8 games.
Self-scouting.
Look at the positive plays, where we did good, and let's try to implement it going forward.
We're brought to you by Bayou Apparel, helping local businesses communicate their message since 2009. One of only a few local LSU official licensees, Bayou Apparel offers the highest quality products to showcase your brand, whether it's an established one or a new one. Bayou Apparel design experts can help you create eye-catching designs that fit your company's message with logos, event T-shirts, and promotional items for your business. Call 225-928-9090 or go to the website at bayouapparel.com. This is a pass from Miller Moss that he's looking for Kyle Ford. This is after LSU had taken the lead. We're into the early parts of the fourth quarter here.
And this is just something that actually we're seeing more come to fruition lately. Great pressure, great aggressiveness from the defensive line, getting home, getting your hands up. Deshaun Womack making a great play, batting the ball down. Almost interception right there. I mean, we could have had multiple tip balls. I mean, we're seeing a lot of this lately. But there was still – this defense showed flashes early on. It's a strange blitz to me because if you go back, I don't know if Gio Paez tries to run a spin move that runs him out, but you end up essentially with Perkins and Womack in the same gap. But Womack gets home and makes a play.
Now, Perkins has been out, of course, so he's not available to him anymore. And we've seen a little of Womack. I thought maybe actually we might see a little. I thought we'd
see him more lately. I mean, especially going back and watching this game. He made a lot of plays in this game. Obviously, we're happy with what the defense has been doing for the most part lately. But early on, there was a lot of good looks, and we created that havoc we keep talking about from game one.
Now we're going to move to – this is a 4th and 9 and LSU's going to get off the field here as well.
It's on the same drive, and I thought about putting these plays back to back, but it's very similar. I mean, these guys were rushing. This probably should have been Weeks' first interception of the season, but we run a cover 0, I believe. The first one's cover 0. We get home on this one, great blitz, and we get another hand up, bat the ball down, and Weeks almost comes down with an interception.
It's a big paw up and almost. Almost.
All right, now I remember why I put this play in. Hit pause. Last week we talked about having this heavy offset with a guy on the shade and 2 ends to the right. Remember last week when we talked about looking at this play, we didn't remember another time that Savion Jones and Swinson lined up on the same side of the ball.
Yeah, okay.
We were doing this earlier on. I think it's more of a pass rush package for us. We're going to get 2 heavy rush ends on the one side, try to create some pressure going forward, and you got Weeks looping around making a play.
They got off the field with this. The interception would have given them better field position, obviously, but this was a 4th down and 9, and that's Jones with the bat.
And what part of the game is this in? Is this
8 minutes to go, 8.5 minutes to go in the game in regulation. Yeah,
we have a lead at this point in the game that we're talking about just finishing. And I go back to the point where Brian Kelly slams his fist on the desk saying, "We just have to finish the game."
Weeks almost came down with it. He would come down one at Arkansas later on in the season. All right, we're going to move to a 3rd down and 1. This is John Emery, but this play doesn't go anywhere for LSU.
No, this is one where I go back to I don't like the look. Once we bring our wide receivers in off the edge, we crowd the box. Pimpton, this is one we talked about early on in the season where he kind of gets blasted, but I mean it's a tough cutoff block for him. There's really nowhere to go on this one. And I really think that when I go back and watch this, I'm going to say this is probably more on Dellinger. You're going to want to see these guys, and I think Campbell signals right here.
All right, hang on. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people in the box. The last time LSU had them outnumbered when they had a similar formation, when they had Xavier Thomas out there on the edge. Looks to me like that USC has added people up closer to the line of scrimmage here.
You could say that, or I'm looking at it as saying, we're on the right side, we're probably running left, and you got a center, guard, tackle, and wide receiver. You got 4 on 3. You should be able to get 1 yard.
Okay, and fair enough. And this is a 3rd down and 1.
So essentially,
this was the play with 7 minutes to go in the game. If they get this 1st down, they're going to be able to continue this drive. They're going to take at least another 2.5 minutes off the clock, even if they go 3 and out after this.
Yeah, I think we have the lead at this point. This is a crucial play, getting a drive going. But look, you're going to talk about the numbers in the box. I don't care about those 2 guys right there. I'm trying to get 1 yard. Give me 1 yard. And look, go back to the other view. I think you can see it a little bit better.
Okay.
You got essentially these 4 guys on these 3. You got to give me a push. And at this point, the end's going to slant where Lacey should be going out, Campbell going up. I think really the problem is Dellinger does not pass it off. Dellinger's got to get up. He gets stuck. You get 2 on 1. And then, of course, it doesn't really help once you get the backside cut off that gets blown up. But essentially, Campbell blocks nobody right there. I mean, running back one more time. If you're going to bring a receiver into the edge on a run side play, look, I love everything Lacey's done, but what's that? He does nothing for me on that edge.
Yeah, but Rich, the guy that makes the tackle comes off the other side.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I get that. I don't like the look getting 2-foot right there, but I'm also saying that maybe I'm just a little bit of being a tight end. I'm going to make that play. You got a young guy doing it right here, but I want this play to happen so much faster. It's too slow played. Hit pause. Too high. Taylor's way too high right there. He lets the guy get underneath his pads. Slow feet. He doesn't get underneath the guy. I don't care about this guy. This guy means nothing to me. I'm trying to get 1 yard.
This is the guy that makes tackle.
But because he's got slow feet, bad position, he's lunging. Taylor's too high. But right here on the front side, I mean, I wrote down the worst run play of the season. Like, this is just terrible by the offensive line. Nobody gets any push. But I see what they're trying to do. And, like, if everybody execute this, it's 1 freaking yard. You got to get this play. You got to get in that gap, make it happen faster.
Slams down. Emery dropped short of the first down, and LSU had to punt. USC got the ball back. This was, again, in a crucial part of the fourth quarter of this game. We are brought to you by Dana Brown and the law offices of O.C. Brown, who we have known for a long time. All your legal needs, you can trust them. A family-owned law firm. Dana's carried on his father O.C.'s legacy for over 30 years. So whether you've been in a car accident, you have other legal needs, the law office of O.C. Brown will be your first and only call. Truly your law firm for a lifetime, and the first consultation is always free. Give them a call at 225-343-1111, 343-1111, or on the web at OCBrown, OSSIEBrown.com. And right down the street from the law offices of O.C. Brown, Town Square Pizza, been open for over a year and a half now. Get downtown for hot, delicious pizza made from scratch. But if you've got a limited amount of time for lunch, you can get in and out in a hurry. Generous portions at Town Square Pizza in downtown Baton Rouge. Final play we're going to look at is a big run by Woody Marks for USC that got down inside the LSU 30.
Yeah, and this is one that I go back to, early on, Burns and Perkins' communication to me struggles a little bit, because you're going to see the tight end over here. Watch him widen. Perkins has him man-on-man, and you'll see it really good from the back view. But as the tight end comes over, Perkins widens. That's going to be his guy. Once he comes across the backside, Burns is going to cover him. You're going to see Burns pass it off. And this is where I say Perkins has to react faster. He actually takes 2 steps back right here. He's the furthest depth of the linebackers. He's trying to read it, and he slow plays it, which allows the lineman to get on him. See, right there, he backs up. And I think because, in his mind, he's taking this guy man-to-man, and he wants to be ready for him to stretch the field. But right there, once he sees this guy crash, he crosses the center, and we've talked about this on a few games. Burns picks him up. He slides over. He starts to cover him. Perkins has to go right there. But right now, he's so far back, he's trying to feel it out, read it out, and allows the offensive lineman to get up on him.
All right, let's take a look at it from the end zone view here.
And this is another one where, Guillory, he gets kind of bullied right here.
Who's another guy who is no longer available.
You're going to have 2 guys crashing to the inside. Well, Guillory does not anticipate or expect this guy to come crashing down. He's going to shove him 3 gaps over, which creates that wide hole, which makes it even more important. So once Perkins right there, he sees that tight end coming to the backside, either it's a backside cutoff or it's a backside passing route. But either or, once he crosses that center, Burns is going to pick him up and run with him. He's got to stop slow playing. He can't keep backing up. Once he sees him crash, he's got to go. Pause right there. Like, there's no way in hell you're telling me that, I know the athlete that Perkins is. He can't be sitting there waiting once that guy crosses the center. You can't have the tackle get up on you 5 yards past the line. He's got to beat that guy. And look, Penn gets beat here, right here too. Where'd I show you? Guillory, look where he's at right now. He started on the right side as a shade inside technique, and he is thrown across the field. This is one where, all in all, no one did a good job on this one, but it's so close to where if they do their job, like, I'm not saying that they get a big stop and they win the game, but this is another one of those situations where a short gain turns into a big gain.
Makes a couple of good cuts.
We talked all early on about guys just playing their gap, being gap sound. If you watch where Guillory's lining up, he's on the inside, 3 technique on the guard. He's got to stay gap integrity right there, but he gets shoved all the way across the field, and it opens up the middle of the field.
So now that all of that's in the rearview mirror here, once you went back and watched this again, defensively, the gap integrity has been a lot better at this point in the season than what it was back in game 1.
I think those young guys, there's good and bad things about being a veteran. Sometimes when you're a veteran, you think you know everything. You think that you understand what's going to happen. You can make the play. You can kind of cheat a gap because you can get by. But now I think you're seeing a lot of guys play safer, which you don't get the big plays playing safer. You eliminate you don't get the exciting tackle for loss, big play in the backfield. But on the opposite end, when you're playing safer, you eliminate the big plays down the field from the offense.
After this game, you had the Nichols game where Guggenheim had a couple of big runs. And then South Carolina, which, by the way, that win looks better and better all the time now. And you had 2 big plays in that game. But in the month of October, they were a lot better as far as a lot of stuff. We didn't see as many busts in the secondary like we did on that zone coverage. We saw better tackling. They settled on some people in the secondary. They closed their rotations down. It's a much better defensive group now than it was 8 weeks ago.
What you're getting is time and game film with a great coach in Bo Davis. I mean, so you can do all the coaching you want in the spring. You're going against the same guys. It gets, kind of monotonous. You're doing the same thing, same guys every day. You're hearing them, but you're not really feeling them. You're not understanding them. Once you go in there every Monday, when you have a rough game, or like I always tell people, I played 90 snaps in a game, 80 snaps in a game. I remembered 4 or 5 or 6, whatever. I remember the bad plays. I didn't remember the good plays. And these are when you get this coaching. Guys are heavy on the 6 things you did wrong in a game, not the 80 things you did okay or better. So once you get this type of coaching, you really settle in. Like, that cannot happen. Big plays happen when you get pushed, wide and 3 gaps over. So I think, the biggest thing to me is these guys are getting, game reps, game film, and getting better coaching on certain situations.
Offensively, there's some run concepts in here that we haven't really seen a whole lot of recently. I don't know if we're going to see them against Alabama. Yeah. The other thing is, of course, that they'll be without Dellinger in this game. So you're going to have a freshman playing at the left guard. But the bubble screen game to me is very interesting, because this is not when Kelly says, hey, look, our linemen aren't really built to get out there and move like this.
That wasn't on the linemen. I mean,
yes.
That's a play that you can run. I mean, we ran it 20 years ago when I was playing. It's something that you can have a check off every run. And, Thomas is a guy I want the ball in his hands. I mean, he's a guy that really excites me when he gets the ball in his hands. He always makes a play. He's a Jarvis Landry to me. He's very gritty, tough, kind of has that running back mentality at a receiver. He's a guy we got to figure ways to get the ball in his hands. And you saw on the play we showed you, you can do simple little bubble screens right like that to get him out in open space, make him beat one guy and make a play.
You want Thomas there, and that's fine. I got no problem with that. If you wanted to try Aaron Anderson, that'd be okay too.
Either or. Yeah.
All right. Huge game coming up this week. It's a big, big week here in Baton Rouge. So hopefully the storm will not impede us too much.
Not even looking at it.
If you're watching this podcast way after the fact, look, it's the Monday of game week. So as we record this.
A November storm.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
Okay. For Richard Dickson, I'm Charles Hanagriff. This has been the Handycast.